segment and sequence, we've been talking about our attention span and where we put our focus in life, and how some ancient cultures and teachings, rishis, yogis, mystics, have explained how important our attention span is and how we can learn to bring it into our present moment. Finer and finer degrees of the now. And through that process, we realize that a lot more is going on than we had previously realized. We also talked a bit about how our senses are so limited, even if we have a good focus, that our physical senses, they vary between people. The degree of efficiency or precision that our physical senses have. But there's also a training of the mind in the same way we might train our ear to key into certain tones and music and scales. We use the aura, the combination of all our fields, and we tune that and we resonate that, we learn to sense that. And that subtle energy that's around us, that's actually a part of our own awareness. It's a part of our whole psyche and our system. And that is extended out in a part of the infinite. So our attention span, in order to meditate and practice, we need something very easy to focus on, because the goal, we need to focus. There are people who have practiced meditation have they usually say, well, I try to sit down and I concentrate and these thoughts come, because our mind is full of thoughts. And through a certain amount of practice, so if you read my segment on Moments in Succession, Patanjali's discussion of mental training, you might say, to focus on moments and energy. And it's hard to keep our focus, so we need something attractive. Now, in my case, I give credit to my personal teacher, who's very well known, and he showed me something a long time ago, that every single time I practice it, it works. If I'm not feeling happy, I'll feel happier. If I'm already feeling happy, I feel extraordinarily happy. So that's the problem. If we get something to focus on now, my teacher Maharaji shows something that's within us. This is an old teaching. He's the best teacher that I know of who can teach that. Some people have found some success elsewhere, but this is where my source is. And by allowing the mind to focus, now try to understand, some people try to concentrate and practice meditation as if you're taking your attention like a pin, and you're just looking, and then you find something, truth or whatever, focus on, you pin your attention there, and you try to stick it there, you try to hold it there like glue. But that's never going to work, for one thing. What people who practice regularly learn, and I have a segment on letting go. If you imagine our own, deep in our awareness, there's our consciousness, what we're conscious of. Then there's things that we learned during our life and observed and experienced. And those are stored in memories. Some are accessible and some not. And there's a lot of subliminal, subconscious stuff that's integrated with other realms of existence and beings and energy fields and so on, and that's called our psyche. People call that our psyche or whatever, and that there's all kinds of symbolism and momentums and stuff there. But there's a part of us that is just almost like the clear blue sky. I mean, it is just so beyond all that. If you imagine that it wants to unite with, if you look at it like, say, the air in a jar, the air in a jar wants to come out and join the air outside the jar. And maybe you have a tiny little pinhole in the cap, and a little bit of air can come out. But there needs to be a flow if it's going to be completely open. So the barrier that we put between our thinking process and truth, or whatever we're focusing on, it's going to prevent that from happening. So when we try to pin our concentration on something, that's never going to work. What has to happen, you just remove the lid, so to speak. You take out the obstruction, the blinders, the narrowness that we look through. Through the process of meditation, and allow our whole being, all our being, our feelings, our emotions, to connect with what's already there. Meditation is allowing a flow of something that's already happening. It's more like getting out of the way, but it's not quite like that, because what we're talking about is our own existence. We're not getting out of the way for something. It's more like having a mask and just realizing what it is and dropping it. Dropping the barrier. Through letting go, through a process of understanding, wisdom, trust, and just then from there meditation is easy. From there meditation becomes like being carried. You sit in meditation and it's just happening. It's already happening. So I'm going to have another segment or two in this section about attention, because it's so important, and how we use our attention to learn and discover and enjoy life.